Okay, we're live, Hill. So,
Hello, Inspired Chiropractic. Welcome for our very last day. Our 4-part webinar series is ending today. And if you have been with us all 4 times, thank you and congratulations. You are another step closer to having an incredible 2022. We hope that the last 4 days have been insightful, helpful. I hope that you've done the work. And if you haven't and you maybe caught a couple here or there or didn't finish them, I really highly encourage you to stop the video and go back and watch day 1, 2, and 3 because it really sets us up for today. Just a quick recap. On the first day, we talked about really uncovering what it is you want by starting with some reflection, evaluating the different areas of your life, evaluating this last year and what has worked and what hasn't. And the value in real true reflection will give you some insight into the things that you want to bring with you into the new year and the things you want to let go. And so that was our first day on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we talked about goals versus systems and processes and how really the goal is kind of this end result, the outcome. But we want to make sure that we are establishing habits and systems that are based not on the outcome, but on the identity, on who we want to become. And then yesterday, we talked a lot about action, about having a simple strategy with cues and rewards and really setting up a really good game plan for how you're going to get what you want and what you're after. And so I hope that you know that the content that we're bringing to you translates across the board, whether your intentions for the next year are better health or better finances or better relationships, maybe a better spiritual walk with God, whatever it is that you want, these principles can be applied to any one of those areas. So today we're going to talk about what happens when you fall off track. What happens when it doesn't go the way you expect? What happens when it's February 15 and you kind of forgot about your goals? Then what? And what happens when you feel like it's just not going the way you want it to? So we're going to talk about that because that's the reality. Dr. Neil and I have walked through that many, many times. And so we're just coming at it from not that we never have trouble with our goals, but rather we have learned how to stick with it and how to really create some grit and some determination to not just throw the baby out with the bathwater and just say goals don't work for me. We figured out how to make them work. And today, Dr. Neil's going to just start unpacking, and then I'll fill in the gaps where we need to.
yeah, thanks, Hillary. I think the biggest thing, the difference between a goal that I've set in the past where it lasts a week or a couple of weeks or a month versus something that's been years. Like I was sharing my smoothie recipe I've been doing for 7-8 years. My workout routine I've had for the last 4.5 years, and I've been dead on consistent. Like the key is being able to be honest with it and see the long-term goal. But you've got to have a way to review it to say, is this actually working? And so I think that's the couple things is, one, you have to have a way to review it. And then 2, you have to give yourself the margin, or like if you want it to go well, give yourself the grace to make changes. If the way you set up your system initially is not working as well as you'd like it to for you, change the system, make it better. That's what you want to have the attitude. When do I review it? How can I make sure that it's better? And then honest reflection, is this still the goal that I want? Or honest reflection on why the goal is important so you keep sticking with it. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that have allowed me to have sustainability and longevity with a handful of different goals. And what's worked for you and I, we've talked about, we have different ways to review it. For me personally, I like to put my year goals, I put them in my phone, and I have an alert that comes up on the 1st of every month, and it has my goals for the year and why and my system. And so I'm reviewing that every month. How is that system going? How am I doing? Why do I want to do it? Do I need to tweak it? Do I need to make changes? And then as the year goes on, I refine it. So it's getting better and better and better as the year goes. And then as I get it in a really good spot, it's a fairly short reminder for that goal or for that year. And then I have the next year that adds on to it. So now when I go on Saturday, when I have my first of the year come up, I have the goals that I've been setting the last 3 years are all on my first of the month reminder. So I just read through them and I just say, how am I doing? So I make it a point, or I prioritize it, whatever day is the first, that I sit down for at least 5 or 10 minutes and I just look through it, think through it, process. A lot of them, if they're older, it's going good. I like where it's going. I don't need a lot of changes. It's usually the newer ones where it's like, This is working, this is not. So I'm almost doing like some of the reflection we did at the very beginning of the goal setting, what's working, what's not. And I'm just briefly doing that every single month with the mindset of how do I make it as good as I can. And I have the margin to make change here, and that's okay. So I haven't lost the goal because the purpose of it, the spirit of it is still there. And that's made a huge difference for me.
That's good. Yeah, my refresh, my reflection kind of looks a little bit different, but it's the same concept. I love that you use technology so then it's not really dependent on you remembering. I think that's really valuable for a lot of people, whether it's something big like goals and refreshing those, or it's something simple like wearing your head weight or doing your wall ball traction. It's like, just let the device remind you. Like, that's why we have technologies, to make our lives easier and simpler. For me, I use a tool. This is not like an ad. I'm not sponsoring it or anything, but it's called Power Sheets from a website called Cultivate What Matters. And I purchased this year-long goal planner to help walk me through uncovering my goals, but then also like daily, weekly, monthly, looking at them and the habits and the systems that I've created. And so I have my physical paper planner, and then I have a physical paper goal planner. And on that goal planner, it has monthly things that I'm going to be doing, whether they're tasks or they're goals. And then I have like weekly rhythms and then daily habits. And so there's some things that I'm checking off or I'm doing on a very regular basis, and I'm checking those. And then some things I'm looking at monthly, or I'm kind of checking my progress as I go. One of the things that I really worked on this last year was leadership, and I wanted to read more books. And so I just made that a monthly goal. I was going to read 4 books a month for certain months. And I just tracked it as I went. As I finished a book, I just marked it down, so that what I do consistently is at the end of the month, before it hits the first of the month, I do a reflection. And I look and see what things did I do consistently, what didn't, what did I drop off on, and what do I need to give myself grace on, and what do I need to figure out a different system? Sometimes we have an idea of what our month or a year or the quarter is going to look like, and life throws you curveballs and it's not quite what you anticipated. And some of it is outside of your control, and you've got to give yourself grace for it. I like doing that on a monthly basis, but then every quarter, built into the tool that I use, but you guys could just do this on your own, is what I call a quarter refresh. And I literally go through that life evaluation again, because 3 months is a lot of time. When, if my marriage is doing great and my physical health, exercise, everything's going great, well, fast forward 3 months, it might not be the same way. And so for me, I find a lot of value in evaluating those 8 areas of my life, and then giving myself permission to change my either goals or the system. Maybe I never anchored this goal to my real why, and I realized what I really am after is something different. And I just give myself permission to scrap a goal if it's not something that really aligns with my values and my why. But more importantly, I know, Dr. Neal, you and I talked through like the importance of staying committed to your goals, but staying flexible with how you get there. One of the things that you taught me early on when I started working with you was about this concept of course correction. Can you explain where that term comes from and what that means for people's goals?
Yeah, something I learned from some of my mentors years ago. The idea of course correction is the whole point of what you're doing is to get to a certain destination. So if you're to me, it makes sense if we're flying from Sioux Falls to Orlando and the plane takes off, there's a direct path. Like if you were looking at an image and it said, here's where your plane's at, there's actually a direct path from Sioux Falls to Orlando. That's the fastest way. But the plane doesn't take that direct path. It kind of veers off to the left, and then it course corrects and it veers off to the right, and it's getting there, but it almost, over the course of the whole trip, it's zigzagging across that direct line. And so it may only hit that line 30 times in that whole flight, but it's always moving in the right direction. And so the idea is the plane is course correcting to get to Orlando, but it doesn't have to be the perfect flight path to get there. And the same thing is true for us. It's like you're course correcting to get to what's important to you, but it doesn't have to be perfect to get there. And the grace that's in there, and the flexibility and the margin and the ability to transition slightly is what's really important about that concept. It's this idea of like, I need to course correct a little bit because this is what I need in this season, or I'm getting off track, so I need to course correct and get back on track. And that's where the follow-up becomes really important. So the questions I have for you as you're taking today and you're using it to take action, you want to make sure your system is very clear. And then now here's what you want to write down. One, how will I follow up? So the how will I follow up? Then number two, when will I follow up? So how will I follow up? When will I follow up? And then lastly, is this simple to me? Your follow-up process needs to be simple to you, and something that you say, hey, this to me is not that hard. It's very simple to do, and it gets me thinking about it again, or gets me paying attention. Because a lot of times you ask somebody, if I would ask somebody in the middle of December, how have your goals been going for 2021? Most people don't even remember what their goals are because they didn't have a follow-up system. But if you were to ask me, I could tell you exactly what I've been focusing on this last year.
Yep, that's so good. I'll add in one other tip when it comes to the follow-up. Maybe who will you follow up with? Maybe some of you need like somebody in your corner that is willing to like process it through, especially if this is new and you've never done it. So my friend, her name is Caitlin, the two of us purchased our power sheets, and every single month we'd meet at a coffee shop, and it became a really fun time for us to spend an hour and say, hey, what worked for you last month? What did it? And that really built me into this rhythm that every month I just check in. It's not like this nagging friend. It's this encourager. She wants the best for me and I want the best for her. So some of you, maybe your action step is not just how will I follow up and when, but with whom. Maybe if you had somebody with you in your corner that helped hold you accountable, you'd find a lot of joy in the follow-up, some fresh perspective in what you really need to do as far as strategy, and then just a little bit more energy to approach the next month. One of the things that I've said a lot is there is nothing magical about January 1st. And I hope that you guys really grab hold of that January 1st is not some magical date that you are going to be automatically the most disciplined person, or you're going to, like most focused. Every single day counts, and you're getting closer and closer to maybe discovering that what it is that you really are after. You already are an incredible person capable of reaching your goals. You realize your identity is firm and secure, and you find a lot of joy in living this one incredible life that we have. And so you don't have to wait till January 1st. You don't have to wait till the first of each month. But I would just encourage you to establish the mindset. Why do I want these things? How does this connect with my values? And then take little steps. It's not about perfection. It's just about progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't have a ton more. At least I don't have.
No.
If you guys have questions, you need resources or tools, or you need somebody to just talk this through, please reach out to us. But just as a recap, as we're finishing up, we're not going to jump on tomorrow. You have tomorrow, New Year's Eve. You have Saturday as New Year's Day. We hope you have an incredible time closing out the year and opening up a new one. But I'd really highly encourage you to uncover your goals, what it is you want, to really evaluate what went well, what didn't, to really establish what you want this next year to be about, to set some intentions, some words, some goals, and then establish the strategy and the action plan like Dr. Neal unpacked yesterday, and then establish what your follow-up is going to be. That's going to be so key. So we're excited to see the changes that you guys have in your lives. Please invite us into it. Share with us what you're working on, and we'd be happy to share what we're working on as well. So that's it.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, guys.